This morning, the Trump administration digging in as the fallout grows over that text chat bombshell that top officials discussed secret U.S. military plans in a group chat on the encrypted messaging app Signal, with the Atlantic magazine's top editor inadvertently included. Jeffrey Goldberg said he was added to the chat by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who the Atlantic reports texted information about, quote, targets, weapons, and attack sequencing to be used in bombing targets in Yemen, speaking yesterday.
Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that.
Goldberg responding overnight.
No, that's a lie. He was texting war plans. He was texting attack plans.
Goldberg says on the morning of March 15, Hegseth notified the chat of an upcoming attack.
Including human targets. Meant to be killed in that attack, weapons systems, even weather reports. It was a minute-by-minute accounting of what was about to happen.
Around 2 hours later, he says, reports came in of explosions in Yemen. Though he chose not to publish the most sensitive information, Goldberg sharing other screenshots of the group weighing in, including the CIA director writing, quote, a good start after the attack, even celebratory emojis posted by Waltz. Before Hegseth sent the plans, the group, including Vice President J.D. Vance, debated. Vance saying he thought the operation was a mistake, adding, quote, I'm not sure the president is aware how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now. The group later agreed to go forward. Vance's team now saying he and the president have discussed the matter and, quote, we are in complete agreement. President Trump on Monday denying any knowledge of the story.
I'm not a big fan of the Atlantic. I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time.
A National Security Council spokesman telling the Atlantic its reporting, quote, appears to be an authentic message chain, and arguing there were no threats to troops or national security. Democrats outraged by the breach.
This is reckless, irresponsible, and dangerous.
While Republican lawmakers have largely shrugged it off.
An inadvertent phone number made it onto that thread. They're going to track that down and make sure that it doesn't happen again. What you did see, though, I think...
So what happens now? President Trump did ultimately read that story yesterday, a White House official tells me, and two sources say he has spoken with Mike Waltz about the episode. The White House yesterday released a statement that reads in part that Trump still has the utmost confidence in his national security team. Several members of that team will testify on Capitol Hill today in an unrelated hearing where Democrats are already planning to grill them about this episode. Craig?
Garrett Haake for us there at the White House. Garrett, thank you.
All right, for more on the security breach and its fallout, we want to turn to NBC senior Washington correspondent Hallie Jackson. Hallie, if you look at some of the comments that Republican members of Congress have made, as well as Democrats, of course, everyone agrees this was really dumb and really sloppy. How serious is it?
Okay, so you make a good point here, Savannah, because the bottom line is this, right? And in talking with folks around this, including a former national security official, Signal or an encrypted app that's commercially available is fine for like you or me, but it is not okay in a case like this where you're talking about this highly sensitive classified material, as the Atlantic has reported. That is what the big issue is here, because it's not like these top officials don't have any other options. There are systems, devices that they have that can handle this information, that are highly secure, that are in place and accessible. So the question is, why weren't those devices, why weren't those systems used? The question is, how pervasive is the use of something like Signal inside the Trump administration? Is that happening all the time? If it is, then why? Is it to get around record-keeping requests, et cetera? So the alarm bells sounding of the national security issue here is very loud. Of course, the question is, what is the fallout going to be as these investigations continue, Savannah?
Well, to that end, Hallie, I mean, is this the kind of story that folks are actually talking about 3 or 4 days from now? Will there be political fallout, or is it, as one Republican senator declared yesterday, inside baseball?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Craig, because it's obviously very buzzy at the moment. Everybody's talking about it. You're going to hear a lot about it on Capitol Hill today, tomorrow, in the days to come as these investigations play out. But when you look more broadly, if you're stepping back and thinking about, let's say, the midterms, you look at what voters consistently say they care about. It is the economy. It is immigration, for example. You've already seen this perspective from top Republicans that, hey, listen, this was a mistake, and make no mistake, it was, but we will get the processes fixed and people will move on. One Republican Republican senator said, on the list of things that keep moms and dads up at night when they can't sleep, this is not one of them. Now, on the flip side of the coin, you have some critics, including Democrats, who are old enough to remember a decade ago when there was a lot made about Hillary Clinton's email server. Remember that, and the transmission of potentially sensitive information, classified information there. Clinton herself responding to this yesterday, tweeting out a link to the Atlantic story and simply saying, you have got to be kidding me, keeping in mind that many of the same people on this very group chat, on this Signal text thread, were going after Clinton at the time for what she had done.
All right, Hallie, we'll see where it goes today. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.